Hey guys, I hope you've had a good week so far this week. If you have a Bible, if you'll take it and turn to the book of 1 Corinthians, and as soon as I say the chapter number, most of you that will watch this video are going to know exactly what we're going to be talking about today. And it's 1 Corinthians chapter 13, and we're going to be talking about love, considering that it is Valentine's Day. And this chapter in the Bible is one of the most famous, if not chapters, at least sections of Scripture. It's often quoted a lot. You see it on, wall art. You'll see it in people's, Instagram bios. It's just kind of everywhere in our world today. Whether people actually know what it means, or they just like the little pithy saying, and they like to stick it somewhere where they can see it. So what I thought I would do is just take a moment and read through chapter 13 and kind of tie it in with what I think love looks like, right? 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 1. If I speak human or angelic tongue but do not have love, I am a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have all faith so that I can move mountains, but I do not have love, I am nothing. And if I give away all my possessions, and if I give over my body in order to boast, but I do not have love, I gain nothing. Love is patient, love is kind. Love does not envy. It is not boastful, it is not arrogant. It is not rude, it is not self-seeking, it is not irritable, and does no record of wrongs. Love finds no joy in unrighteousness, but rejoices in the truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, and endures all things. Love never ends. But as for prophecies, they will come to an end. As for tongues, they will cease. As for knowledge, it will come to an end. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part, but when the perfect comes, the partial will come to an end. When I was a child, I spoke like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. And when I became a man, I put aside childish things. For now we see only a reflection, as in a mirror, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then I will know fully, as I am fully known. And these three remain: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. So I want to just kind of work through this, and we can kind of just share. I'll just share some stuff with you just off the top of my head that kind of comes to mind as you read through the passage. First of all, basically from the very beginning of the first three verses, we see that it no matter what you do, whether you're in school, whether you're talking to someone, if what you do in life, if it's not accompanied by the love of Christ in your life, it's worthless. It means nothing, right? That's why everything in the Bible comes back to a relationship with Jesus. Because if Jesus was not who he said he was, and Jesus did not die, and he was not raised from the dead, we have no purpose. We have no plan. We have no hope. We have no future. Live how you want to. I'm going to live how I want to. Oh well. But the moment that Jesus is who he said he is, and he did what he said he did, changes the game, changes everything. Now we have a specific purpose. Now we have a hope. Now we have a future. Now we have a plan. And it's all wrapped in the love of God. Now, there's three words in verse 4 really get me. Love is patient. I am not a patient guy. It is something that I'm working on in my life right now. Various circumstances will put me in a spot to where I have to learn patience, especially with some middle school kids that will test me and try me sometimes, right? But just stop for a moment and reflect with the people that you love, with your friends, with your classmates, with just the people that you're surrounded with in this life. Are you patient with them? Are you willing to give them the benefit of the doubt sometimes? Are you willing to go the extra step, the extra mile for them, right? Even when they are not perfect, are you willing to love them unconditionally? I'll give you just a brief example from my own life this morning. I was trying to be the good husband, right? I was trying to go and surprise my wife for Valentine's Day. I wake up early in the morning. I drive a couple minutes down the road. I go to Starbucks and I get the coffee and I get a little parfait and I bring it back. I'm like, it's going to be great. You're going to love it and all this stuff. And I bring it back and all of a sudden it hit me. I was like, oh, I ordered the wrong coffee. I have this note section of my phone that I try to keep up with. My wife's changing taste buds of what I think she likes. It was 100% my fault. I ordered the wrong thing. I written it down wrong. Was not good. Didn't realize it. Got home. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. So I gave it to her anyway. And she ended up kind of make some little tweaks to it, put some little sugar in it, a little cream or whatever else she wanted. And she ended up loving it. Now, long story short, my wife could have hated it. And for good reason, because I ordered the wrong thing. But in that little teeny tiny moment, she chose to love me, probably because I put in the effort to at least try to show her that I loved her, as opposed to just waking up saying, hey, what's up? But she didn't have to in that moment, but she loved me despite my mess. And sometimes it's easy for us to love somebody when things are going well, when stuff is good. But when somebody else wrongs us, or when life is just messy, things are not going well, it seems like you can't catch a break, and when we mess up like I did this morning in a small way, it can be very, very difficult just to stop and love that person and love them as Christ would. Love is patient. Are you patient? This is love never ends. That the love that Jesus started in you will continue on this earth and into eternity for you. And then I love this last portion is it really talks about how it starts with love never ends, but it ends in verse 13, specifically talking about how love is the only three of faith, hope, and love that is going to remain. Why? Because when we get to heaven, we don't need any hope. Why? No more reason to hope, because now we're with Jesus. When we get to heaven, we're not going to need any faith. Why? No reason to have faith. We're with Jesus. But for all of eternity, we will be engulfed and surrounded with the love of God. And that is why it is the greatest. Which is why in verse 12 he says, for now we only see a reflection as in a mirror, but then we're going to see him face to face. Like right now, like you see the beauty of different, you go on a hike, you look at the mountain range, you look at any sunset, you look at kind of the natural beauty, you look at how God has created us and about how we're all unique and specifically crafted in our own way, and that we can look and point back to that. So right now in this physical earthly life, we can see little glimpses of the beauty of God and glimpses of the love of God. But there's coming a day, as in verse 12, and we will see that love face to face. We will see that Jesus face to face. And there will be no more pain, no more tears, no more crying, no more suffering. And we will not only have a glimpse of that love that we see today, but we will see it in its fullness. So my challenge to you today on this Valentine's Day is that you simply call somebody, text them, put a post up about them, and just let them know that you love them. Never take for granted the moments in life that you have with those that you love. Whether it's your boyfriend or your girlfriend, whether it's your husband or your wife, whether it's your brother or your sister, whether it's your friend or your classmate or your teammate, never ever miss a moment to tell them you love them, because you never know when it will be your last. And that's my encouragement for you today, is that only the love of Jesus Christ will last on this earth. And for those of you that have a relationship with him, you're set, you're secure, and it's going to be love that surrounds us with Jesus for all of eternity. Guys, I hope you have a great week this week. I hope you keep your eyes on Jesus, and let's roll.